Good evening to everybody having tuned in to tonight's meditation prior to the teachings with Venerable Vina about how to transform problems and paraphrased into how to like your problems. And that's a huge task. And for that purpose, I think we need to get better seated and breathe some fresh air. Just breathe in, breathing out. Preparing the body, preparing the mind. Thinking about the three vessels, not being a leaky vessel or a polluted vessel or a closed vessel, but thinking about being a pure vessel, and also understanding that with this meditation, we absolutely need to be pure, and actually having been on the wisdom level. Otherwise, we are unfit to really step into this wing of the two birds. And think about the benefits of problems, since that's the main topic of today's meditation. Think of this as a method of generating the increasingly great strength and determination, the thought of liking that which is generally regarded as miserable. But first, think about your motivation for doing this practice. Thinking about the aim, the goal, the intention. Checking with your intentions and the level of your capacity. And now with this step, think of others, those you know or don't know. Think of animals and hungry ghosts, hell beings or gods. Recognize that all living beings are just like you. They just want happiness and they don't want to suffer. And with this general thought in your mind, in your heart, we will recite the 4 immeasurables in the long version. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings had happiness and the causes of happiness. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were free of suffering and the causes of suffering. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were inseparable from the happiness that is beyond suffering. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were to abide in a state of perfect bliss, blissful equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. This is the ordinary step, the big love, but thinking that we are on the Mahayana path. So we enter the level of thinking, may I cause all sentient beings to abide in this way. May I myself abide in this way. And now think about yourself, thinking that you have met this perfect teachings that will be bringing you to enlightenment. Still, even though you try to engage in virtue, that you constantly met with obstacles, problems, and difficulty, both internally and externally. And during these degenerate times, if you're not able to transform problems into the path of enlightenment, you have no chance. How easily you will become overwhelmed by all the challenges. And think, with this, and in order to attain enlightenment, as quickly as possible, and not to be discouraged by problems. You'll be doing this meditation on transforming problems into happiness for the benefit of also yourself, but also all living beings. Having set this motivation, think about some sort of problem in your life, the biggest obstacle, something that really agitates your mind right now. Maybe about relationship or family problems, something at your work, health problem, lack of energy. Maybe it seems that there are forces working against you and that nothing ever seems to go smoothly. Allow your mind to feel very strongly the mind that is thinking of this thing as a problem. And see if you can identify how you try to push it away. It's the aversion, when the attachment doesn't get what it wants. And feel the discomfort of the unhappy and discontent mind. And now consider that if you're thinking about guru devotion, what if the problem is just a test from your teachers, from your guru? Perhaps she or her or he is just testing your patience, testing your resolve to persevere in Dharma. Maybe your guru, your spiritual friend, is testing your ability to have a compassionate mind. Or maybe thinking about how Buddhas can manifest in inanimate objects. Maybe your guru is manifesting as this problem, manifesting to teach you or assist you in purifying negative karma. See if you can swap this around and thinking, this is a gift, a rare gift, and absolutely no problem at all. Think that you're actually quite lucky. You can tick it off as another problem not coming back, ripening in the future, but also an ability to test your patience and your perseverance. You can also use renunciation. As long as you are in samsara under the influence of karma and delusions, what are you expecting? Are you just expecting there to be no problems at all? Living in samsara means having problems and suffering. Thinking about Lama's words, life in samsara is like being in a septic tank. And why do you continue to endure this? Why don't you make an effort to trying to get out of samsara? This problem is the perfect reminder that there is no purpose for you to stay in samsara. No matter what happiness you are expecting, it will always end up like this, in suffering. Rejoice, because with reminding you of this problem, thinking about this problem, this is a reminder that there is no peaceful solution to being in samsara. It's always like this. And you might miss this opportunity to attain the pure state of liberation. But with this problem, you are reminded of your shortcomings, your inability to be happy in the face of challenges. It helps you lower your pride, helping you to generate a true mind of renunciation, without which you can never be free. So rejoice, be happy. And mind you, you're not the only one experiencing problems like this. Any problem. Countless sentient living beings are experiencing this same problem right now. The same frustration, same pain, depression, physical discomfort right now. See if you can identify that also other sentient beings are suffering from problems similar to yours or different. But also rejoice that you do have the Dharma. You know why you're suffering, and you have the remedy to free yourself from problems forever. All it takes, some effort, some joyous effort. And also think about the majority of other sentient beings. They don't have a clue why they're suffering. You do. Think about the despair, not only just suffering, but not knowing why. And you have the understanding of why. And also think that any sentient beings from this inner realm, the hungry ghost realm, hell realms, they would trade everything, anything, for an entire lifetime of just this very problem. Your problem is nothing compared to their suffering. Your problem, that would be blissful happiness compared to their suffering. And they have to endure it for countless eons. Yours is maybe even forgotten in a week. Think about your self-absorbed mind setting, only thinking of yourself, thinking about your problem compared to other sentient beings, maybe in this world even. And they have no way out. It's a terrible situation that some living beings have to endure. You can also see it in the face of karma. Nobody created this problem for you. You created the problem. You created the karma, and it's just ripening right now. And think also that those beings who are causing you problems from that perspective are actually just starting their negative karma right now, just as you are experiencing the ripening of negative imprints. Yours is ending, theirs is just starting. Thinking that they will have to face a lot of problems that you're currently facing right now. See if some part of you could take their suffering, their problem, letting it ripen on you. On behalf of their suffering, you'll just take it upon you. And thinking that with this discomfort about your problem, maybe you can just take it upon yourself, and that there will be relief from their problems, their suffering. Ultimately, the biggest understanding, thinking and using emptiness, voidness, shunyata in Sanskrit. Ask yourself, why is this a problem? Was it a problem an hour ago, a month ago, a year ago, with the goggles of impermanence? And if the problem wasn't there before, maybe it's gone tomorrow. When did your mind start perceiving this problem? And maybe others in this story don't see this as a problem either. Is this problem lasting, permanent? In 10 years by now, will you be remembering this problem? And now zoom into the problem, dissecting the problem. Examine all the components that make this a problem. The sights, the sounds, the smell, the taste, the sensation, the consciousness. And your mind that is actually on top of all this is labeling this problem. Was there a problem before your mind labeled the problem? Is the situation from its own side a problem? Or is it you who, on top of what is there, the basis, is it just you labeling this as a problem? Maybe it's just an occurrence, a fragment in time. It will pass. You can also maybe see that ultimately later on, this is a stroke of luck that this has happened to you. Maybe it will cause you to look for a new job, find a wonderful way to solve the problem and get better conditions. So the problem isn't an intrinsically inherent problem. It's just something that is labeled by you right now with the eyes, the perspectives that you're having right now. And since it's your view, your construction, it's just coloring your mind. And you could make the determination not to think of this as a problem, because it causes you to go into this self-pitying mind, taking over, causing a disturbance in your peace of mind, making your today's meditation difficult, preventing you from listening to Venerable Venus words later in the evening, or not being really fit for the discussions. You can just think maybe these problems are just happiness and the causes of happiness in disguise. Or just think of them as something which is labeled by your way of viewing them. And coming to the dedications, you can think, first of all, letting go of my self-pitying me, the ego grasping, the clinging to the ego. See this as something that is happening for a purpose. And see this as something that is happening to a lot of sentient beings, just magnified for a much longer time. And with this meditation, with this practice and today's teachings, let it be another step, another break in your determination to wishing to become enlightened for the sake of all sentient beings. and think that you will do whatever it takes to transform the appearance of problems and put it into happiness. And whatever merit we have collectively earned for the past 21 minutes, we will share it with all sentient beings, wishing them to be happy and being able to avoid suffering. Thank you.